Good evening, race fan, and welcome to beautiful Japan and the wonderful circuit of Twin Ring Motegi for the CiL GT3 Challenge. I'm Matthew Nordberg, your producer and commentator for the night here at this stunning racetrack which opened 25 years ago in 1997 and has hosted a variety of racing series since that time, ranging from IndyCar to Super GT, as well as NASCAR and an exhibition race in the Oval in 1998 where Dale Earnhardt and his son Dale Jr. raced each other for the very first time in NASCAR. But tonight we'll be taking on the road course at Twin Ring Motegi. The CiL's best will take on this challenging 14-turn, 2.95-mile racetrack, well known for its challenging double apexes and long straightaways. Weather for tonight's race is 87 degrees Fahrenheit for the ambient temperature with a 105 track temp, 83% humidity, and cloudy with gusts of up to 13 miles per hour. This race is sure to bring on some great racing, some exciting action, and definitely going to be a fun one to watch tonight as currently we are on our qualifying session for our alumni. If you're new to the GT3 series, or excuse me, new to the CiL in general, we do allow alumni to race as well as students. Alumni will be distinguished with red banners on their car as well as 3-digit numbers. Right now we're looking at Kyle Bonin racing for University representing the alumni in that 260 machine. We see him coming down the back stretch of this track right now in that black and orange GT3. Just a refresher for all, both newcomers and returning watchers of the CiL in the GT3 Challenge. It's well known that different types of GT3 cars have different advantages, from the Porsche to the Audi to even the Mercedes. Any drivers who change their car between race to race will incur an end-of-line penalty for the first heat race of the night. For example, let's say you drove the Porsche in race 1, which happened 2 weeks ago, and now you want to drive the Audi. You will be incurring an end-of-line penalty in our first of 2 races tonight, 25-minute races with the top 12 inverted for the second race. Taking a look down our current timing sheet, Alexander Klink out of the Worcester Polytechnic Institute, currently leading the timetable for the alumni with a 150.925. We see him in that blue and yellow Audi right now with the red decals, signifying that he is an alumni. Coming across the stripe there, he's able to set a little bit faster lap time with a 150.811. Going through the rest of the field right now, right behind him, about 0.8 of a second behind Klink, is Nicholas Daly. You see a car go off the track there that looked to be Nicholas Patinella. Not quite sure, but Nicholas Daly out of University of Texas at Arlington, running the Mercedes. He's currently 0.8 of a second behind Alexander Klink right now. If you take a look at the best times for each car coming on the side of your time screen now, 151.647 for Nicholas Daly. Kyle Bonin, we saw earlier with that black and orange Porsche as we tune back in. He currently has a 151.908 lap time. And then behind him, a few more alumni. Tony Coroner, Hunter Hidesti, and Nicholas Patinella round out your 6 alumni racing tonight at Twin Ring Motegi. As it looks like we do have our students coming on track to start their qualifying laps now. Students are indicated with a green banner next to their name in the times tower, as well as a 2-digit number on the side of their car. Look at Jordan Johnson here out of Kent State University. Put on a great show for us last night in the Formula C races. It looks like can't quite tell who that is. It's the 12 car of R. Muhammad Alif out of Ball State University passing there. Those two put on a great show last night in the Formula C race. Fantastic racing between the two of them, side by side, pretty much throughout the entire race, one of the Formula C race, as well as close racing, trying to catch one another in the second race tonight in Formula C. But I expect these two to put on a show in both road series, Formula C and GT3. I expect to see these two a lot. As it looks like the last of our alumni drivers, Nicholas Daly, is coming around the last corner now out of University of Texas at Arlington. Is he going to be able to improve his time and set that best alumni qualifying time of the night? Looks like he can. Doesn't improve on his best time, and he's going to set a 152 flat there. So he will be starting second in the alumni class. Current provisional pole position belongs to Alexander Klink out of the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. our field here. It looks like we got some of the cars in the student class coming down that backstretch now. We're going to be seeing what they're able to do. It looks like that is Cohen Evans making the pass on Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson's trying to warm his tires up, but our Muhammad Alif is our first student across the line here to start his qualifying time. Let's go ahead and take an onboard lap with Alif to see how tricky this track can be. Coming down the turn, we're going to be hard on the brakes. Double apex corners all over this first sector. It's going to be super important that you get your car positioned just right, so that you're able to make a good exit out of turn 1 and 2 for this second set of double apex corners. Hard on the brakes again, almost hitting those cones as they hit the second double apex corner of the track. My experience, a little bit easier than the first two corners, just because there's a little less deceiving, but this corner right here is super important. You can easily lose lots and lots of time here if you're too quick on the gas or too late on the gas. Just right, you'll track out that car right on the edge of the track. Great job by Alif there, making sure he's keeping it all on the black stuff. Coming up to this middle sector now, super tricky with the left-right chicane. Great place for overtaking if you can get it done, but you gotta have to be opportunistic or hope your opponent make a mistake in front of you, as another tight left-hander here as he goes down to the next set of double apex corners on this track as they enter the last sector. Alif hard on the brakes in this qualifying session, trying to do his best to square off that corner and get on power as quick as he can. Straightaways are so important around this track, and if you're able to get on the power quickly, you'll be able to make up plenty of lap time. Alif coming down this last section of corners here, hard on the brakes, 100 meters, able to get the car to the apex nicely and get on the power quickly as well. As he comes up to this very tricky section of corners, it's very easy to get a little loose, as we see Alif get there a little bit loose, a little oversteer moment, but he comes out of the final quarter on the power quickly and is able to cross the line now with a very respectable lap time of, let me see here, provisional pole position time of a 150.777. That's a fantastic lap from our Muhammad Alif out of Ball State University. We'll have to see if any of the other students in his class can catch up to him. Going through the rest of the field. Second position in the student class right now, Connor Fisk in that 42 machine out of the University of Utah, representing the Utes. Puts in a good lap time of a 151.897. Not quite as good as our Muhammad Alif, but that was a stellar lap time right out of the gate. That I don't think many people are going to be able to get, but we'll see as people get heat in these tires, as we see Fisk get a little bit wide on the corner exit there, and he's going to tow that one back with pits. But Cohen Evans right now is stuck behind a little bit of traffic maybe of our Muhammad Alif. I think that's in front of him. Could be another Ball State University car. They all run very similar paint schemes, and Ball State University well represented in the CiL. They run a program up there. They have a great infrastructure, and they got coaches, and they're well represented in both the road and the oval side of things. Cohen Evans here, the number 7 car, CiL veteran out of IUPUI. Currently sitting 4th in the student class right now, representing kind of a good lap time of a 1:2.153, but he's on an out lap right now, so this won't be a lap for a qualifying time. And there are a few people missing tonight. If you are unaware that the iRacing eNASCAR series for college students is happening tonight as well. We do have a few drivers representing us in that series tonight. Some of the drivers include, let's see if we can pull something up here. One of the drivers in the CiL who's representing Florida International University tonight in the CiL eNASCAR, the eNASCAR Collegiate iRacing Series is Christian Gomez. We wish him luck as he takes on Homestead Miami Speedway. A little bit of home field advantage there for a Florida International driver to be racing at a track in Florida, but we wish him all the best and hope he does well. Still on board with Cohen Evans here. Thomas Crump behind. He's currently sitting in the 6th position overall, 3rd in the student class, representing Clemson University in that 1.6 machine 16. as I can count, I promise. Crosses the line now with a 1:52.7, so not able to improve on his time right now. Not many drivers seem to be improving on their second lap. It seems that a lot of them are opting to tow back to the pits and do another outlap and hopefully get enough grip in those tires to be able to challenge our Muhammad Ali for that coveted pole position. Taking a look at Austin DeLong, that 22 machine Porsche out of Pennsylvania Collegiate Technology. Austin DeLong, veteran of the CiL, he's had a lot of experience as he enters this last sector and he puts his foot down on the loud pedal down this long back straightaway. It's going to be a great opportunity to overtake if drivers have the grip in the tires, as well as if they're able to square off that corner correctly. A lot of corners on this track are so important to have great exits out of. So if you have to sacrifice something, it's going to be entry speed rather than exit speed tonight here at Twin Ring Motegi as Austin DeLong down on the gas. It's a little bit too early there, and he's unfortunately in the wall. For the back to the field, we're looking at Ryan Whitlock out of the University of Alabama at Huntsville in that 81 machine. Beautiful looking car there with the orange and the blue decals indicating that he is a student. Ryan Whitlock also well seasoned in the CiL. Just like some good cooking, well seasoned is the best kind of driver. He's got the experience, he's got the tools, he knows what he's doing, and Ryan Whitlock is hoping he can get some positions tonight. Hopefully get a little bit further up the field right now. Currently sitting in 12th overall, but there is still 4 minutes left in this qualifying session to move up the field as we see a couple drivers improve on their time. Tyler Stone, currently in 18th position. Looks like Thomas Crump also, or excuse me, Cohen Evans just moved up a spot with a 151.906. Not too much activity on the track right now. It seems that some drivers might have EOL penalties and might not be qualifying, knowing that they're going to start at the back anyways. So we'll have to wait and see what the qualifying order is at the end. But right now, it's looking good for our Muhammad Ali as he comes out for another outlap here, just in front of Ryan Whitlock there. Actually, he should be able to get another lap time in, but this is a long lap, so it's important that he's able to get across the line in time and get the good lap in. As it looks like Jordan Johnson, we talked about him earlier being in contention for some good points tonight. Puts a good lap time in with a 151.351, puts him in 3rd position. Now, this GT3 Challenge Series is open setup, so it is possible that some of these drivers may have qualifying setups that are a bit better than their race setup, or vice versa. So just because a driver is able to take his setup and put in a good qualifying time does not mean that that same setup is going to work well for him in the race. So very important to see how all the tire wear plays off. It is a somewhat warm track at 105 degrees, as I mentioned earlier, so it's definitely not as cold as the CiL Formula C series last night, which had a track temp in the low to mid 70s, but definitely not a scorching track temp right now. Once this qualifying session goes on, just a few more facts about this fantastic circuit. This fantastic road circuit hosts the MotoGP event for the Japanese Grand Prix, but also recently, Twin Ring Motegi, as it used to be known, is now known as, what was it? Mobility Resort Motegi. Yep, that's right, folks. It is no longer Twin Ring Motegi officially. While in iRacing it still has the title Twin Ring Motegi, the oval track is no longer used. After some damage sustained the 2011 earthquakes in Japan, the oval track, it just wasn't used anymore. It needed to be repaired. IndyCar wasn't coming there anymore, and there's not a whole lot of oval racing in Japan. So the oval track no longer used. I'm not quite sure if they've demolished it or if it's just sitting there vacant for testing. But as of March 1st this year, Twin Ring Motegi is officially known as Mobility Resort Motegi. Just a fun fact you can brag to all your friends out there about if you ever get into a conversation about Japanese racetracks for some reason. It happens all the time to me. I don't know how often it would happen to you, but always good to know as we see drivers continue to set fastest times. It's Connor Fisk up there in the 42 machine. He's able to set a good lap time of a 151.412 out of the University of Utah. Looks like drivers are finishing up their qualifying sessions now. Only a few more drivers on track. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get to the line in time to set another qualifying time. But either way, looks like our Muhammad Ali puts in a great lap time of a 150.748 there, improves on his best time by a couple hundredths of a second, is able to strengthen his hold on pole position. But Alexander Klink, even though he's an alumni, they will be racing for overall position. So just because they're different classes doesn't mean they're going to be starting far apart. As the seconds tick down here in qualifying, looks like our drivers are finishing up now as we get ready to set the grid for race 1. All newcomers to the CiL, just a refresher, there are 2 races for tonight. The first race is set by the qualifying times you just saw on your screen. 25 minutes for race 1, and after 25 minutes, it'll be a 5-minute warm-up session, and then in the second race, your top 12 from race 1 are going to be inverted. So if you finish 12th in race 1, then you're going to be starting on pole position for race 2. Walking through our grid here for race 1 of the evening, our Muhammad Ali out of Ball State University set the pole position time of 150.748. On his outside is going to be Alexander Klink out of Worcester Polytechnic Institute, just a couple hundreds behind him. Jordan Johnson out of Kent State rounds out 3rd position, and then Connor Fisk out of the University of Utah is 4th. Nicholas Daly, an alumni from the University of Texas at Arlington, is 5th, with Cohen Evans out of IUPUI in 6th. Kyle Bonin and Thomas Crump round out a Clemson row 4, with Kyle Bonin 7th and Thomas Crump 8th. Benjamin James and Justin Friedrich round out your top 10 and 9th and 10th, respectively, and Tony Coroner and Hunter Hadesti have an alumni row 6. In 13th is Ryan Whitlock out of the University of Alabama in Huntsville, with Austin DeLong to his outside from Pennsylvania College of Technology. Daniel Rodriguez and Blake Ellison round out your next 2 in 15th and 16th. Nicholas Patinella out of Robert Morris University and Tyler Stone out of St. Clair College in 17th and 18th. Colton Wilinski, apologies for the pronunciation, out of Florida Southern College in 19th with Alex Hogarth in 20th out of St. Clair College. Kyle Wood out of Ball State University is 21st with Athena Leclaire in 22nd. In 24th is Daniel Hunter. He did not set a qualifying time and will be starting at the back of the grid. As these drivers grid up here, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a quick race here, 25 minutes. It sounds like a long time, but it's really not that long once you get into the meat and bones of it. Look at these drivers throughout the field right now. Engines revving, ready to go. It's going to be an exciting race here as we take a look down the field. Drivers gridded up as the pace car gets away. These drivers are going to be getting ready for their race here in a momentarily. They're on the backstretch right now. It won't be a long drive. It should be interesting to see how some of these drivers navigate this first couple of corners. We saw how twisty and tight the last sector is. As you see a bit of a stack up here for some reason. Alexander Klink going super slowly, and looks like I-95 right now for some reason, but I think looks like Klink might have a slowdown penalty. There's a lot of chaos going on the formation laps right now, but our Muhammad Ali way in front of the field right now. They're all going to have to catch up to him, where the stewards might actually put another lap on for the troubles here. But only 5 cars here up the front right now as the race is getting ready to go green. And Barney the flagman is waving that green flag, and we are green here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Our Muhammad Ali gets a great start, but Connor Fisk is following right behind with Kyle Bonin and Code Evans trying to follow suit. We see our Muhammad Ali gets away well, but back further in the field, Tony Coroner in that Porsche machine is getting packed left and right now on his outside. He must have had a slow corner, but they're racing down to turn 3 now. Hunter Guest looks to be lining up a move on Daniel Rodriguez. He sends one down the inside here in turn 3. Looks like he's able to get on the brakes in time. We see some cones pass, but it looks like Hunter Hadesti is not able to get that move done, as Tony Coroner behind is trying to recover from a slow start, but Ryan Whitlock further through the field right now. Further up in the field, around the outside of Justin Friedrich. A good move right there. It's a tough corner to get right, especially going side by side. See Colton Wilinski, apologies for pronunciation, it's catching up to him. Looking by a few cars here. As the drivers continue to snake through the field, currently looks like we might have had an incident towards the front of the field. No, just a couple drivers just going side by side here. As our Muhammad Ali still in the lead now as Connor Fisk and Kyle Bonin try to give chase. Looks like we might have had a crack for the back in the field. Alexander Hogarth as well as Hunter Hidesky, both in incidents right now. We'll have to get a replay of that when possible, but those guys might be out of the race at the moment. Currently, looks like Nicholas Daly here went off the track a little bit at the looks like turn 12 or 11 there. Unfortunate, he loses a couple of spots to Daniel Rodriguez, Ryan Whitlock, and Justin Friedrich. He's going to have to recover and try to get himself back up in those positions, because remember, 12th position, that is the inverted pole position. So right now, Nicholas Patinella in the catbird seat, he's up 5 positions right now, but our current biggest mover after lap 1 looks to be Ryan Whitlock, up 7 positions, as well as Daniel Rodriguez, up 7. Big fight here with Nicholas Daly and Tony Coroner. Those are 2 alumni fighting for alumni points right now. Looks like Nicholas Daly has some beef with those cones as he kicks him out of the way and make sure he has a good, clean path to brake on. But Nicholas Daly, with a good set of corners there, is pulling away from Tony Coroner, and now Tony Coroner is under pressure from Austin DeLong behind. Tony Coroner a little wide there coming out of the corner, but he's able to get on the brakes. But he's a little deep maybe, but Austin DeLong is really putting the pressure on Coroner now. He's going to see if Coroner can make a mistake in this next set of corners and try to get by him when he can. A little further back in the field, we see 2 St. Clair College cars going at it. That's Tyler Stone we're looking at right now, trying to pull or get past Athena Leclerc. 2 cars behind him. Looks like it is Hunter Hidesky and Jordan Johnson back there. Jordan Johnson must have been involved in an incident earlier in the race, as it looks like he's fallen back to the back of the pack. We see going around the outside here. Oh, excuse me. Having some weird technical difficulties there. Those cars actually might be a lap down. Yeah, some of these cars might be a lap down. That's why they're showing up weird on my timing screen right now. But Athena Leclerc driving the 61 car in that Lamborghini. Right behind her, Tyler Stone in the Mercedes, both out of St. Clair College. We look further up to the front of the field. We'll see Daniel Rodriguez out of Auburn University doing his best to hold off Nicholas Daly from behind. Daniel Rodriguez a little bit wide there in turn 1, but he's squaring it up nicely for the exit of turn 2. But Nicholas Daly has a fantastic exit. He's going to try to send one down the inside up to turn 3 now. Further back to the field, Alexander Klink, who did have an end-of-line penalty earlier in this race. He's making moves, trying to gain some positions. Able to get past Nicholas Patinella there in the 172 Mercedes. Those are both alumni cars, so that is a move for points for Alexander Klink. Remember, the alumni and students are not racing in the same points category, even though they're both on track, just like you might see with a Pro and a Pro-Am car. They are in different classes and are scored differently. So right now, Alexander Klink sitting in 4th position for the alumni. Looking back up to the battle with Daniel Rodriguez, it looks like he's caught Justin Friedrich in front of him. Justin Friedrich a little bit of oversteer off the corner there, as we got a little bit of a train going on here now, as Nicholas Daly wants to line one up on Daniel Rodriguez, but Rodriguez wants to get Friedrich, because we see a bit of a bump in the back there. Looks like Friedrich a bit early on the brakes, and Rodriguez could not hit the brakes early or hard enough, and now go to side by side down this backstretch. Daniel Rodriguez is hoping to get a move done here and try to advance his position, but he's also got Nick Daly behind him. Hard on the brakes, Daniel Rodriguez. He's able to get the move done on Justin Friedrich, it looks like, and Nicholas Daly is going to try to follow him through, but Friedrich's not giving that up just yet. He's going to come back on the inside in this next sequence of corners. Super difficult to go side by side here, but now Friedrich and Daly are going side by side, as Tony Coroner is trying to get in on some of the action here in that Porsche machine behind. Daniel Rodriguez got in front of Justin Friedrich there, but Friedrich now coming back at Rodriguez. Can't quite get there. They go 3 wide there for a moment, and Daly's able to hold off Coroner, but Austin DeLong is sniffing blood in the water right now. He's trying to make a move on Coroner, as well as Daly gets to the outside of Friedrich, going down into turn 3. Hard on the brakes into turn 3. Friedrich is able to just hold on to the position, but Daly's still hanging around on the inside. can't quite get there to that bumper, and he's able to he's going to have to, excuse me, concede position there, as it looks like Austin DeLong got into a back of somebody, or somebody got into the back of him, I should say, and is wide coming out of turn 4, and that's going to cost him a few positions. These cars are not giving an inch right now. Nicholas Daly still looking for a way past Friedrich right now. Doing a great job, obviously, Friedrich is, but how long is he going to be able to hold off Nicholas Daly? That Mercedes is so powerful in the current BOP, but that BMW also just as strong under the right hands, as cars, it looks like up ahead, it looks like Daniel Rodriguez went a little bit wide, and Nicholas Daly sticks a nose inside of Friedrich coming out of the corner, but that's going to give him a poor exit, and Daly's going to have to tuck back into the slipstream here and hope he can get harder on the brakes into this next corner. Daly can't quite get there, but further back, deep on the brakes, Tony Coroner, Jordan Johnson going side by side there right now. As you look, Alexander Klink is currently trying to catch up to this pack as Jordan Johnson on the outside of Coroner. These two are not fighting for position. If they touch a little bit, Coroner gets a little bit onto the side of Jordan Johnson, but they get out of there clean enough, as looks like Coroner is going to lose another spot here to Alexander Klink potentially. Klink hard onto the brakes in turn 1. He's got the inside line, the preferred line, as it looks like Coroner got a bit wide on the grass, and he's able to get that move done before the exit, as Austin DeLong takes advantage of Coroner going a bit wide there and is able to move up into 12th position. That is the reverse grid pole. Justin Friedrich still holding on to that 8th position right now from Nicholas Daly, but Nicholas Daly's going to send one on the inside of this corner. Super tough to go side by side through here, but they do it. Looks like Frederick's going to be on the grass a little bit, but Nicholas Daly's going to have to give up position because he couldn't get on the gas, and Jordan Johnson makes it through in that Porsche machine representing Kent State University. He's going to try to send it up the inside again here. Fantastic move around the outside from Jordan Johnson. He's able to get the move done and passes Justin Friedrich. Justin Friedrich's probably going to be a bit upset from that one, but Alexander Klink's also going to join the party, and he's going to try to just continue the bleeding, as it looks like the two touch. Justin Friedrich and Alexander Klink touch on the exit of the corner, and they both spin out. That's going to be a tough break for both of those drivers there. That's so unfortunate. I think Klink just a little bit too much in a rush, and I think results in contact between the two drivers there. We're going to have to get a replay of that in a moment here. Yeah, it looks like Klink just got a little bit too wide there potentially, and got into the side of Friedrich, and resulted in contact between the two drivers. Get another replay here from another camera angle potentially. We'll see it in slow motion here, coming off the corner, as the producing crew tries to get the best angle, but it's me. I am the producing crew. As we get a good look here, coming off the corner. Looks like Friedrich maybe got a little bit loose and Klink maybe thought he would have been on the curb a little bit more, and I think that's tough. That's a tough one for the steward and crew to decide. It's unfortunate for both drivers there, but that's racing, and sometimes when cars come together, you can't really control what happens afterwards. Currently, at the top of the field, your leader is Muhammad Alif, up to a 1.9 second lead right now, as we see Daniel Rodriguez racing with Jordan Johnson right now, and Daniel Rodriguez flashing his lights a little bit. Must be either, just trying to fool around or voicing his displeasure. Not quite sure what he'd be flashing his lights for, but as I was saying, Muhammad Alif up in first position with a 1.9 second lead over Connor Fisk. Cohen Evans currently in third position out of IUPUI, and Kyle Bonin, the first place alumni, in fourth. Looks like Thomas Crump is chasing down Kyle Bonin, though. It's going to be a good fight up there to see what happens as we look further back. Alexander Klink in a recovery drive after getting into the side of Justin Friedrich. And behind him, Tyler Stone and Hunter Hidesti are going side by side there. As looks like Colton Wylinski, I got it right that time, is able to hold the position from Klink for one more corner, as it looks like Klink might be trying to send him down the inside of this infamous corner again here. He did crash here last lap, and he's able to get the move done, but Colton Wylinski is a little bit wide there on the grass, and the gravel is typically a little bit less grippy than the asphalt. Going to cost him some positions. back up at this battle with Rodriguez and Nicholas Daly. This has been the closest battle all night so far. Currently 11.5 minutes into this 25-minute race. Daniel Rodriguez doing a good job to hold off that 8th position from Nicholas Daly as they come down the start-finish stretch now. The threatening aura of that Mercedes GT3 car behind Daniel Rodriguez, trying to make up some positions. And just a reminder, these two cars are in different classes. You can see the blue banner on Daniel Rodriguez BMW. That 69 machine represents that he is a student, but it looks like Nicholas Daly gets a good exit out of the corner. He might be able to go side by side here going through this middle sector of corners, but he's looks like Daniel Rodriguez cuts off the corner and is able to hold on to 8th position right now. But as I was saying, Nicholas Daly, with those red banners right now in that 280 machine, he is an alumni, and Daniel Rodriguez is a student. So the points on track, this pass wouldn't be for any points, but just because it's not for points doesn't mean that they don't want to race each other. You know, you never know when getting in front of one driver is going to be good. You never know who's going to crash in front of you. That might get you 1 or 2 spots just because you're in front of another driver. So always, always, always we see battles like this in the CiL. It's great to see. It looks like a little bit of weaving from Daniel Rodriguez there. Might be frowned upon by the stewards, but no action as of now. It looks like Nicholas Daly is a little bit wide there, sort of missed the apex almost as they weave their way through this final sector. So easy to get a little bit loose, get some oversteer through this last sector of corners, but Nicholas Daly powers his way through, gets a good run coming out of the last corner. He was fantastic through the second lap in the last corner there. He's going to see if he can really launch one up the inside of turn 1. It's definitely doable, but he's going to have to be strong on the brakes, and it looks like he will. Nicholas Daly hard on the brakes into turn 1. Slide job almost going into turn 2 there, but looks like Daniel Rodriguez is going to have to concede 8th position to Nicholas Daly. Following Alexander Klink's recovery drive after his incident, looks like he's trying to move around the outside of Nicholas Patinella. Those are two alumni battling each other. Patinella in the Mercedes representing Robert Morris University, Alexander Klink representing Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Klink on the outside, or excuse me, inside, gets the move done under braking into the corner, and he's able to move his way up into 13th position. Klink currently about 6.5 seconds back, 7 seconds I should say, back from 12th position. If he's able to get up into that 12th spot, he's going to be able to get the pole position for the second race. And in terms of qualifying time, he was the closest to R. Muhammad Ali. So it's going to make it interesting to see who is going to prevail in that battle if Klink starts in first and Ali starts in 12th. Currently close battle on track, Daniel Rodriguez and Nicholas Daly, but Daly's gotten past Rodriguez and he's pulling away at this point just over the course of this lap. Daly has pulled out about a second, 1.1 second lead over Rodriguez. It's going to be tough for Rodriguez to catch that back up, and I think he's going to be looking more in his rearview mirror than through his windshield about the cars around him. We have a moment to take a look through the field. Our current leader, R. Muhammad Ali out of Ball State University, absolutely dominating so far, currently 2.5 seconds ahead of second place Connor Fisk. Connor Fisk currently running that Porsche out of the University of Utah representing the Utes, and behind him Cohen Evans running also the Porsche in the IUPUI number 7 Porsche. Running in the 4th position, and our overall alumni leader, Kyle Bonin out of Clemson University, running that 260 Porsche machine. Porsche seems to be very popular around here this week. Behind him is Clemson teammate, OWR teammate, Thomas Crump. He is a student, so that would not be a pass for position if Crump got past Bonin. But, you know, Crump's always going to want to pass his teammate just to show that, you know, I'm a little faster, I'm in charge around here. Even though you're an alumni and I'm a student, I'm a little faster. You want to always show up the older guys. Ryan Whitlock out of the University of Alabama at Huntsville, making some good time up right now. Had a bit of a poor qualifying effort, but he's doing great in the race. We talked in qualifying how some drivers tuned their cars closer to race trim rather than qualifying trim. But right on his rear bumper right now, 8 tenths behind, is Jordan Johnson out of Kent State University. That number 4 Porsche machine is flying. We saw him start towards the back of the field, and now he's coming up towards the top 5 almost. He's about 6 tenths of a second now behind Ryan Whitlock. We'll see how hard Ryan defends that fight. Rolling into 8th position, Nicholas Daly, the alumni in the 280 machine out of the University of Arlington. He had a great battle with Daniel Rodriguez earlier, and he's now pulled out a big gap, almost 3 seconds to Daniel Rodriguez. I don't know if that's Rodriguez struggling, if he made a mistake, or if Nicholas Daly has just found a lot of pace in that Mercedes machine. Daniel Rodriguez out of Auburn University in the 69 machine, running a great race in that BMW. One of the very few BMWs we've seen, but that car definitely great. That front engine power is definitely helping out of the corners and down the straightaways. It's going to have a great race so far. Austin DeLong up 4 positions from his starting position in 14th, driving the 22 Porsche out of Pennsylvania College of Technology. He's had some battles. He has had a little bit of contact, little elbows out, but he's running a great race right now. Looks like right behind him, Tony Coroner out of Michigan Tech running the 666 machine for the alumni. Currently the 3rd overall alumni, so he's got that podium still, but further up through the field, we got Jordan Johnson trying to make a move on Ryan Whitlock here down towards, looks like turn 5, I believe, but Ryan Whitlock a little bit wide, and Jordan Johnson's going to be able to get the power down and steam past him on corner exit. He's going to have the inside line for turn 6, and he gets the pass done in the middle sector of the track. Not too common we see passes in this sector of the track, just because it's so difficult to get the power down and have it run, because the straightaways in this part of the track are so short, but great job by Jordan Johnson, pulling a little bit of an over-under move there almost as he moves himself up into 6th position. Going back through our run through the field, we were talking about Tony Coroner. He's catching up to Austin DeLong here. Now within a second, he's going to be getting that slipstream down some of these long straightaways in that Porsche 666 machine. But it's been a great race from him so far. We've seen a lot of contact and battling with them. But Tony Coroner out of this 666 car, great race from him. Jacob Cummings in the 95 machine, currently in the 12th position. He is in that reverse grid pole position. He's running out of the University of Alabama at Huntsville, I believe. We'll have to double check that right now. The time screen aren't showing the college. Apologies if that's the wrong college. There's a lot of UAH cars. But, excuse me, Wingate University. The paint on that car is a Wingate car. Running the Wingate University 95 machine, Jacob Cummings, running a good race right now. Currently up 13 positions. Our biggest mover in the race by far is Jacob Cummings. He's had a great race, and if this pace continues, he'll hopefully be on a reverse grid pole for race 2. Just outside the top 12, Alexander Klink, we saw he had contact with Friedrich earlier in this race. That put him in a bad spot. He's really chasing down Jacob Cummings for that reverse grid pole now. We'll see if he can get it done before the end of this race. Nicholas Patinella out of Robert Morris University running that Mercedes machine in the 172 car. He's had a decent race so far, a little bit quiet. He's moved up 3 positions, but just doesn't seem to have the pace to be able to catch that top 12 and get that reverse grid pole. So you see behind him, that's Hunter Hadesti out of Clemson University. Looks like they're trying to make up some positions right now. In the 35 machine between them, that's Benjamin James. Benjamin James out of, looks like Ball State University, I believe, is currently a couple laps down. So he's not racing for position. He's just racing to learn what it's going to be like in the next race there. Unfortunate, he got caught up in some early race contact and just put him a couple laps down. We see Colton Wilinski there trying to get a move past Tyler Stone, and they make contact. Both of them crash into the wall hard. They're going to have to avoid on the track. That is a tough crash to watch. Unfortunate there. I think they were both trying to fight over the same place of real estate. That was for 18th and 19th position down there. We'll get a replay of that crash there and see what went on. Take a look here, coming off corner exit. It looks like that's Kyle Wood just in front, and Colton Wilinski in the blue car on the inside out of Florida Southern College. We'll see if this angle might be a little bit better. We'll see who comes up. It might be the St. Clair College car. Just drift a little bit up into the track, and they have contact. I'm not quite sure if Kyle Wood thought he had more room, or if the Colton Wilinski out of Florida Southern was going to move over to the inside of the track more, but unfortunate incident there between those two cars. But Jacob Cummings here, currently under pressure from Alexander Klink with like 4.5 minutes to go in this race, trying to get that 12th position and get that reverse grid pole for the second race of the night. It'll be tough for Jacob Cummings to hold this off. I think Alexander Klink's had great pace all night, and the only reason he's back here really is due to an unfortunate incident that resulted in a crash, but we don't know if any penalties came of that crash, so we'll have to see if maybe, I guess at this point, if there were any penalties, there would have been a drive-through assessed at this point or something along those lines. But along the outside, Alexander Klink, he's going to try to outbrake him, but can't quite get there. He's going to try to pull the over-under here, but Jacob Cummings covers it beautifully there out of Wingate University. Looks like Klink's flashing his lights a little bit, showing his displeasure. Maybe Cummings was lifted a little bit on the apex, knowingly blocking the over-under move from happening. It's smart racecraft. Not always appreciated, but when you're the driver defending, you got to do what you got to do. And nobody was in the wall, so you can't really complain too much there. Alexander Klink was deep on the brakes there, really got onto the brakes super hard. You look further up through the field, Muhammad Alif is coming around right now. We're going to see if he gets the white flag this lap, but I don't think he is, and it looks like he's not. Looks like we have 2 more laps in this race. Going further back to the battle we saw earlier, Jacob Cummings and Alexander Klink. This is going to be a long straightaway for Klink to really use that slipstream to the best of his effect and hopefully send one up the inside of this corner. He's a little bit too far back, though. I don't think he's going to get there in time, but he's going to go for it. He's going to go hard on the brakes, maybe intimidate Cummings a little bit to maybe make a mistake, but Cummings stands strong and is able to hold on to that 12th position for now. Alexander Klink sits behind Cummings for another corner here as he bides his time, tries to figure out when to make the best move. It looks like Alexander Klink's going to get a good run here going down into turn 3. He has the outside line. Cummings defending the inside there. Klink hard on the brakes. Is he going to get this done around the outside? I don't think so. Cummings does a good job of cutting off his line and continuing to hold on to that position for another lap, as looks like Klink maybe gets on the inside there, and it looks like Cummings was a little bit wide, and they're going to go side by side into turn 5 here. It's a difficult corner to overtake, and difficult, lemon difficult, as some might say. It looks like up in front of them, Austin DeLong and Daniel Rodriguez are going at it. DeLong trying to make a move for 9th position here, but Daniel Rodriguez is on the inside going into this middle sector, and Daniel Rodriguez is going to have to concede, just can't carry the speed through the corner there. It looks like also Alexander Klink is able to get past him. That very same corner DeLong was able to as well. So Alexander Klink makes the move for 12th position. That is your reverse grid pole for race 2 tonight, folks. So Alexander Klink is currently sitting pretty. Up in front of him, Tony Coroner, and now is trying to get past the struggling Daniel Rodriguez. I think Coroner is a bit wide on the exit there, but that's going to give him the opportunity to get on that power super early compared to Rodriguez. He's going to use all that momentum down this long back stretch. Hopefully send one up the inside, as it looks like Muhammad Alif is coming, or he's already taken the white flag, excuse me. So we'll have to keep an eye on him and make sure we see him when he crosses the line, as Daniel Rodriguez is currently still defending from Tony Coroner. We'll get a quick replay here of Klink passing Cummings. Looked like there was a little bit of contact coming down towards this little left-hand corner, as Alexander Klink is able to hold the inside line and make a move on Cummings for that 12th position. As you go back to the live feed, looks like these guys have spread out a little bit now. Daniel Rodriguez is a little bit in front of Tony Coroner, as Muhammad Alif continues to lead the pack right now. He's stretched that 2-second gap from the last time we saw him all the way to a 4-second gap. So Muhammad Alif, that pace is electric tonight, as he's able to navigate himself through these last sectors of corners right now. Middle sector is always the trickiest on this course, just because of how tight some of the corners are. Well, you have to really roll the speed through them. We'll take a quick look back. Looks like Thomas Crump has caught up to Kyle Bonin, but there is lap traffic between them, and Jordan Johnson as well is a little bit behind Thomas Crump as well. So Jordan Johnson is gunning for a top 5 in this first race, but Muhammad Alif right now is coming down to the last sequence of corners. He is led from start to finish. He has been electric in this first race, having the best lap of the race so far with a 151.41. He was 3/10 quicker than nearly anyone else on that last lap, and our Muhammad Alif out of Ball State University, deserving winner in race 1 of the night, as he comes across the line now to take the checkered flag. Our Muhammad Alif is your race 1 winner out of Ball State University tonight. Further behind him, it looks like we're going to have Connor Fisk out of University of Utah on the 42 machine, come home second, and Cohen Evans will round out your race 1 podium out of IUPUI. Further back to the field, looks like Tony Coroner has had some troubles, and Alexander Klink is now trying to make the move for 11th position. That will give Tony Coroner the reverse grid pole. Alexander Klink is not done. He was not happy with the reverse grid pole. He wanted another point in this race. But Klink will try to see if he can get past Daniel Rodriguez here as Austin DeLong leaves this pack, but I don't think it's going to happen. Klink's going to finish this race. It looks like a little bit of blocking there almost from Daniel Rodriguez, but Alexander Klink will come home in 11th after having a spin earlier in the race. Tony Coroner, your reverse grid pole winner for the race by finishing in 12th. He's joining the 666 machine out of the Michigan Tech as an alumni. Well, folks, that was a fantastic race for the first race of the evening. I think we definitely saw a lot of side-by-side battles, and I think this track definitely conduces itself to giving good side-by-side racing. You know, double apex corners, left, right, long straightaways for drafting. It's a fantastic track, really one of the best in Japan. Obviously, Suzuka is up there as one of the world's best tracks, but don't discount Twin Ring Motegi, folks. It's a fun track. It's got an oval you can race on as well if you're more of an oval guy or girl. So we have our last couple of finishers come across the line now. Nicholas Patinella slowing, maybe he didn't have enough fuel. Kyle Wood looks to have passed him as Nicholas Patinella slowly creeps across the line here for Robert Morris University. Just clutch in and keep it rolling. We've all been there, don't worry, folks. Fuel saving's a tricky art, and it looks like Nicholas Patinella crosses the line now. That's not the finish line, excuse me. Where's Barney? There's Barney. There he is, waving that checkered flag. Nicholas Patinella crosses the line in 17th position here after not quite having enough fuel. And there he goes. He finishes in 17th. Glad he could cross the line there, even without, you know, a couple drops in his fuel tank. Good thing we don't do post-race inspection for fuel around here in the CIL. That would have been bad news for Patinella, but good race all from the first race. We're going to have a quick 5-minute warm-up session here in between races. Well, folks, we look through here the beautiful scenery of Twin Ring Motegi. Will I try to bring you some more fun facts about Twin Ring Motegi as we wait? Absolutely. Let's see. What facts do I have for this track? Twin Ring Motegi is owned by Honda, and as a part of the mobility resort now that it's known as, Honda does have like a little museum where they host historic Honda racing and production cars, and they have a little fun lab people can enjoy there, and you get to see some future technologies Honda's working on. Not only racing and cars, but robotics and aviation as well. Honda has done a lot, and not only racing, but if it's got an engine, I'm sure Honda's worked on it. But there's also a cafe, which is named after some of the Gran Turismo games. So we see some of the cars going out on track here now. Let's see if we can pick some of them up. This is Athena Claire out of St. Clair College. And apologies if you do not enjoy my fun facts. We have to kill the time somehow. We're all in this journey together. As we see Athena Leclerc here in the 61 machine out of St. Clair College. A veteran of the CIL. She does a lot of oval racing. She's very experienced on the oval side. Still getting her feet wet in the road racing side of things, but she's definitely been picking up speed over the past couple of seasons, and hopefully you get to see her towards the front more and more. In front of her, excuse me, that was not in front of her. That was Jordan Johnson in front of Athena Leclerc. They're a newcomer to the CIL, racing out of Kent State University. Has already made a name for himself in the Formula C series, which races on Monday nights using the Formula 4 car in iRacing. Runs a very similar format to the GT3 Challenge. Races on the same weeks on Monday nights at about 8:45, 9 p.m. when the broadcast starts. A broadcast starts like 8:45. Race starts at 9. But the Formula C series is very competitive. Different point structure than the GT3 challenge. It's a bit more similar to what you might expect out of an IndyCar point system or an F1 point system. But Gordon Johnson, very quick driver, and I think we've seen some great battles with him tonight as we saw him cutting through the field. A few of the other drivers on track right now include Daniel Hunter out of St. Clair College. Looks like he's got that default Porsche paint scheme, which is still beautiful. But St. Clair College, we've mentioned their name a couple times tonight. There are colleges in this series who run esports clubs and programs and official varsity programs that support esports, and that includes iRacing. St. Clair College is one of the first schools really in the CiL to put more backing behind their program rather than kind of just student support. There's a lot of administrative support at St. Clair College. They have coaches. They really work on setups together, and it is a true racing team. More and more colleges across North America and even some in other continents have been getting in on the esports scene. And your traditional esports, maybe Call of Duty, CS:GO, Valorant, but iRacing, as it becomes more and more popular and more feasible to do, cheaper than real racing, I can tell you that much. More people get into iRacing, more people go to college with iRacing experience, and that creates the competitive college racing scene. As the eNASCAR Collegiate iRacing series has started to show on the oval side, if you put a prize pool, people will come. It's the biggest motivator there is. Continue to follow Daniel Hunter around the track. Another St. Clair College car that's the wrong direction is Alexander Hogarth, the 20 machine at St. Clair College. He's running that Lamborghini. He's able to get it going in the straight line again. Oh, maybe not. I spoke too soon, but he saved it. Yeah, I'm sure Hogarth is thinking, I'm sure no one saw that, right? It's not on broadcast, but he'd be wrong. So it was a good save. Trying to get some practice in and understand where the limits of adhesion are as Hogarth spins again. We'll just back away from that. I don't think he wants us to see that. Benjamin James out of Ball State University. You've heard that college called a lot tonight. Ball State, another one of the programs which really puts their backing behind these students as they race in the CiL. As we get a look at our race 2 grid for the night, Tony Coroner out of Michigan Tech will be leading the field to green with Alexander Click on his outside. Daniel Rodriguez and Austin DeLong round out row 2. Nicholas Daly and Ryan Whitlock in row 3. Jordan Johnson and Thomas Crump 7th and 8th, with Kyle Bonin and Cohen Evans 9th and 10th. Connor Fisk in 11th position, and our Muhammad Alif, our race 1 winner, will be starting 12th for this race. A bit further back through the field, one of the drivers who sadly just missed out on the invert, Jacob Cummings out of Wingate University, and 13th with Hunter Herdesty, out of Clemson University, and 14th with Blake Ellison and Kyle Wood in row 8. Row 9 was Nicholas Patinella. We saw him crawl across the line with not enough fuel, so hopefully he's fixed that problem. Colton Wilinski out of Florida Southern College. We saw unfortunate incidents with him in this race in 18th, or the first race in 18th. Justin Friedrich out of Minnesota State University. We saw him tangle with Alexander Klink in the first race. He starts 19th. Benjamin James out of Ball State in 20th. Tyler Stone, Nathaniel Leclerc, and Alexander Hogarth rounding out your bottom 3 from St. Clair College. As these drivers get ready to start their next race, tensions are high. They know that there's not another race after this. They know that this is their last opportunity, really, to get points for the evening. As we see at the front of the field, Tony Coroner, he's leading the field to green as the pace car moves away. Leading the field to green, Tony Coroner on the inside, Alexander Klink on his outside. Coming across the start-finish straight now, a much cleaner grid than the first time, as Tony Coroner and that red Porsche gets a good jump on Alexander Klink, and they're away. The green flag is waving. Barney waved that thing wild. Looks like further back in the field, looks like we had a good jump from Nicholas Daly. They go 4 wide here to turn 1. or Jordan Johnson, excuse me, sends one really deep on the first corner. Looks like they get through there cleanly. Nicholas Daly in that orange and blue car out of University of Texas at Arlington, currently holding on to that third spot right now. But Daniel Rodriguez has something to say as they're about to go 3 wide again. Jordan Johnson deep on the inside. He's able to get that done. Jordan Johnson being super aggressive here as Nicholas Daly gets under the grass a little bit. Further back, Ryan Whitlock's holding off positions right now. He's going to make a move on Nicholas Daly, who got it a little bit wide there. Coming down this next straight down towards turn 5. On the inside is Nicholas Daly. Outside is Ryan Whitlock. Ryan Whitlock's going to have, he's going to be pushed a little bit wide. He's going to get on the grass, and that's going to cause a bit of a congestion here. Traffic jam as they move their way through the middle sector right now. We see in that red car, that's Muhammad Ali on the inside of Austin DeLong. Now on the outside of Austin DeLong as they make their way through the middle sequence of corners. He does a great job to keep the momentum up and get that move done, moving himself into 8th position. Further back, looks like Thomas Crump in that purple and orange machine out of Clemson University. He's going side by side with Connor Fisk. He was our race 2 runner-up driver, and he's going to try to maybe get one on Austin DeLong here as well. Looks like a little bit of contact from Jacob Cummings there out of Wingate University. But further towards the front, looks like Tony Coroner is under pressure from Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson is not messing around right now. Jordan Johnson is being aggressive at the start of race 2, and he wants positions now. He knows our Muhammad Ali is quick, and he wants to get as much clean air as he can, as soon as he can. Jordan Johnson with a great exit out of the last corner. Tony Coroner is just going to have to be able to give up that position. I don't think there's going to be a chance for him to fight that one back with the speed Jordan Johnson has on the exit, and it looks like Jordan Johnson gets it done in the corner. Great move for second place as Alexander Klink sets the fastest lap of this race with a 55.51. Further back in the field, Cohen Evans, he finished our first race in 3rd position. He's dropped a few spots since the start of this race, down 3 positions. Our current biggest mover in this race, Benjamin James, right behind him, up 6 positions as they continue to go nose to tail through this set of corners. Kyle Bonin on the outside of our Muhammad Ali. Alif is trying to get that position for 7th, and it looks like he's got it done on corner exit. Great move from him as he's trying to march his way through the field and try to get that first position back. Thomas Crump is thinking of a move there, but he can't quite get the dive bomb done. He's going to have to concede and continue to sit behind Jacob Cummings there. Jacob Cummings and I think Kyle Bonin had a little bit of contact earlier on, so I don't think there's any love lost between those 2 drivers. It looks like our Muhammad Ali is making another move here on Ryan Whitlock in the last sector of this track. Our Muhammad Ali is continuing his slow and steady approach through the field. He's done a fantastic job of calmly managing the traffic and doing his best to get through the field. Connor Fisk, our race 1 runner-up, is making a move on Austin DeLong here. Super close into braking. Looks like DeLong maybe a bit hesitant in the braking. I'm not quite sure, but Fisk, he's really going to try to size him up for the exit here as they make their way through the last section of corners. Connor Fisk out of the University of Utah can't quite get it done. And there's a bit of a traffic jam behind him now. Looks like that's Jacob Cummings, Kyle Bonin, Austin DeLong. Oh, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong cars. Looks like it's Thomas Crump, Cohen Evans, Benjamin James behind this group of cars here. As Jordan Johnson set the fastest lap of the race last time around with a 51.04. Our Muhammad Ali a couple tenths behind with a 51.66. Here we see Nicholas Daly and Daniel Rodriguez going at it side by side as Tony Coroner is kicking some cones up, and he's in the dirt and gravel. And it looks like our Muhammad Ali is going to try to take advantage of this and go 3 wide down the backstretch here as they go break. This 3 into 1 does not go. We got a bit of contact here, and it looks like they stacked each other up. Almost super dangerous contact. It looks like they spin. Ryan Whitlock has spun behind it. There's a big crash behind. Cars getting caught in it left and right. Looks like they blocked the track, and it's going to be a tough night for some of these drivers after getting caught up in that one. We're going to have to take a replay and see what exactly happened there. But our Muhammad Ali able to avoid the contact, but going 3 wide into that corner is so difficult. It's really, really hard to judge a braking point, and Muhammad Ali here is making the move for 3rd position. Let's see if we can get a replay Oh, we got a little bit of contact here as it looks like Nicholas Daly got in the back of Coroner. Let's see if we can find a replay of what happened. Yeah, just coming down to this corner, it looks like 3 wide, and it looks like behind, that might have been Ryan Whitlock. No, Kyle Bonin got a little too deep on the brakes, and then chaos ensued as Rodriguez hit the back of Whitlock, and these two both spun onto the track. Yeah, and then it just continues from there, and it just spirals and spirals. We'll take a look from Ryan Whitlock's view. Yeah, we'll see Daniel Rodriguez here. We'll see what happens to him. Yeah, and then Ryan Whitlock just gets hit by DeLong, and DeLong gets coming, and then Cumming hits DeLong, and then Crump's in it again, and it's just a mess. Unfortunate incident from those drivers, but that's racing. Sometimes it happens, you know. 3 wide into that corner that really is barely big enough to fit 2 cars. It's going to result in a little bit of contact, but this battle right here between Coroner, Fisk, and Bonin is heating up a little bit here. Excuse me, Coroner, Fisk, and Daly. Looks like Fisk is going to be able to get past Coroner here on the corner, as it looks like Daly locked up a little bit. Putting Coroner now at the back of this pack. He's probably going to stick to that rear of Connor Fisk and hopefully follow him through as he tries to make an overtake on Nicholas Daly. Further back in the pack, Thomas Crump in that purple and orange Clemson machine, currently racing Justin Friedrich in that blue and yellow Minnesota State car. Up ahead of them, that's Blake Ellison in that white Porsche, representing Averett University out of the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Crump going down the inside there, trying to get the move done. This is for points both in the student class. Thomas Crump gets it done on corner exit. Great move by him, and it looks like Blake Ellison's going to have to concede 11th position as Friedrich is now hustling the back of that Porsche machine. The BMW is so stable through some of those corners. Looks like Justin Friedrich's going to have a good chance here to make a run at the Porsche of Blake Ellison. Looks like Ellison is not able to hold off Justin Friedrich here. Friedrich, good job on the inside, and he's really taking control and telling Ellison, that's my corner, I'm going to be on the inside here, you're going to have to back out of this one. We go back towards the front of the field in 5th position. Connor Fisk right now trying to make a move on Nicholas Daly into turn 5 right now. He gets that done. Connor Fisk out of the University of Utah representing the Utes in the 42 machine, currently up into 4th position. But we take a look at the front of the pack. Our leader, Alexander Klink, is going to have to defend from Jordan Johnson here. Jordan Johnson's been putting in great laps, and he's been a couple tenths quicker each lap. Last time by, it looked like Jordan Johnson was a 51 flat, while Alexander Klink was running a 51.4. So a couple tenths different there between those 2 cars. And I think Jordan Johnson's thinking to himself, if I get past Klink quickly, I'll be able to have some good clean air pace, get past Klink, and then I'll be able to lead the race for the rest of the way. Currently 9 minutes into this race, still 16 to go. Field currently a bit more spread than it was in the first race, but still some good racing throughout the field. Jordan Johnson's still trying to make up some time here. Losing a little bit of time, I think. I think Jordan Johnson is quicker, but I think Alexander Klink is quick in just the right spots to be able to hold off Jordan Johnson. As Johnson gets to within half a second now. I think a lot of cars earlier, a lot of close cars in terms of pace got caught up in that wreck on this very corner earlier on. I think that took out a lot of contenders, and I think some drivers that I'm sure who weren't involved in that wreck are happy to be able to race without some of the pressure of having some of their classmates, with their fellow students with them. This Jordan Johnson continues to hassle the back of Alexander Klink here. Taking a look from the nose of Jordan Johnson just to see how deep he breaks into this corner. He's going super deep. He's going to try to square this off and get a good exit. Maybe catch up to the back of Alexander Klink, but Klink with a good exit as well. Jordan Johnson seems to be catching a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough to be able to pass by the end of this straightaway. Currently further back to the field, looks like Kyle Bonin is trying to make a move work on Tony Coroner right now. Tony Coroner holding that 6th position right now. This is alumni v alumni. This is for points right now. Tony Coroner on the outside line. He breaks super deep. Looks like he might be able to hold it, but he's got to get off the gas to be able to stay on the track as Kyle Bonin sticks to the inside through turn 2, but he'll be on the outside for turn 3. That's the beauty of these double apex corners and these switchbacks. You're on the inside one corner, you're on the outside the next. As Bonin continues to hold on around the outside, can't quite get it done, and he's going to have to hold back for now as Kyle Bonin still in 7th as Tony Coroner is in 6th. As it looks like Kyle Bonin goes off the track a little bit there. That's going to hurt his time, but still catching. In the next couple laps, I expect this move to get done. Yeah, Kyle Bonin representing Clemson University and that conglomerate of Clemson cars who also, just like St. Clair College was, like I mentioned earlier, one of the first teams to really have a lot of school interaction, and I think they really were the first to act like a team, pulling all of their Clemson University students and alumni together to build setups, work on cars, figure out the best way to get around a track, and you'll always know a Clemson car when you see those orange wheels. They affectionately are known as Orange Wheel Racing. They really have a bit of a cult following, and if you see orange wheels out there on the track, you know Clemson University is the way they are associated with. We're going to pretend like that sounded coherent as Kyle Bonin here sizing up a move on Tony Coroner. Tony Coroner is holding on to that 6th position right now. This is for the 3rd place in the alumni class. Can't quite get there, though. So you look further back to the field. Nicholas Patinella is trying to size up a move on, looks to be Blake Ellison. Looks like he's going to send one up the inside. No, he's going to tuck back in as Kyle Bonin. He's going side by side down the front stretch with Tony Coroner now. These two going at it. 2 Porsche machines. It looks like Coroner's got a bit more straight line speed potentially, or the better exit out of the last corner as they go side by side into turn 1. Into turn 2, it looks like Kyle Bonin is going to have the advantage, but Tony Coroner is going to try to hit the switchback here, potentially going down into turn 3. Can't quite get there, but he has the better exit. It looks like Coroner is going to try to send him move down the inside, but he doesn't. He decides to play it safe, and Kyle Bonin moves up into 6th position overall and 3rd in the alumni class. Alexander Klink right now is doing a fantastic job up front, trying to hold off Jordan Johnson. That gap is kind of stabilized around half a second right now. Looks like Klink's doing a great job of defending. I don't know if it's just Klink being fast in all the right places and slow in the places it's hard to pass, but Jordan Johnson right now really hustling the back of that alumni 013. This fight for the lead is heating up. Remember, our Muhammad Alif was our race 1 winner. He's currently sitting in 3rd position right now. He is about 7.9 seconds behind, really about 8 seconds at this point. Last lap for the leaders was about a 51.6, 51.8. Muhammad Ali comes across the line now. He's going to be putting in a 152.1. So it's a little bit slower than the leaders by a couple tenths there. Someone kicks up the cones there. And I don't know what beef they have with the cones, but that is right on the braking line, so we do see it a lot. It looks like Jordan Johnson got a little bit of an oversteer moment there, collects it out of the corner, and he's able to keep it on track. These two continue to go at it, lap after lap. They're just so close in paces. Jordan Johnson gets a good middle of the corner, speed through there, because that's the sentence that adds up. Looks like Jordan Johnson is really close to the bumper of Alexander Klink here through this sequence of the corner. This is the closest he's been in a while. Doesn't get the edge that he's looking for through the corner. I think Alexander Klink just has fantastic mid-corner rotation, and as a result, he can really get on the power in these long straightaways where overtaking is done at its best in these long straightaways. As we kind of look through our field right now, we see Alexander Klink, the alumni out of Worcester Polytechnic Institute, in first place. He's driving that 013 machine. Behind him, Jordan Johnson out of Kent State University driving that 4-car. Our Muhammad Ali, our race 1 winner, is currently sitting in the 3rd spot. He's up 9 positions from his original starting spot. Connor Fisk, our 3rd place. Can't remember where he finished in the first race, but he was on the podium finisher in the first race. Currently sitting in 4th. Nicholas Daly is started 5th, is still currently 5th in this race. Kyle Bonin in 6th, up 3 positions. Tony Coroner, he's down 6 positions. He was our race 1 pole position holder. Our race 2 pole position holder. Behind him, Hunter Hadesti in 8th, is up 6 spots. Benjamin James in 9th is our biggest mover of the race so far. He is currently up 11 positions. Benjamin James out of Ball State University doing a great job with that Mercedes, moving up the field from 20th to 9th. Thomas Crump in 10th right now, representing Clemson University, down 2 spots from his starting spot in race 2, but behind him, Justin Friedrich, who had an incident in race 1 with Alexander Klink. He's currently sitting in the 11th position, up 8 spots. In 12th is Blake Ellison, 13th, Nicholas Patinella, with 14th being Tyler Stone out of St. Clair College. Daniel Rodriguez had an incident early on, and he's currently down 12 spots on 15th out of the University of Auburn. Kyle Wood out of St. Clair College, currently in the midst of lap traffic. That's Jacob Cummings in the blue car in front of him. Kyle Wood out of Ball State University in 16th, with Athena Leclerc in 17th. We look back at the battle at the front, and these two have been so close, so long. It's been about 10 minutes that Alexander Klink has had to sit with that car on his rear bumper, but he's doing a great job defending, and they're still pulling away from our Muhammad Ali. I don't know if it's a setup thing or if Leaf has kind of had to burn his tires to overtake a lot of people, but Alexander Klink and Jordan Johnson are pulling away from our race 1 winner right now. Still the current closest battle on track, as Jordan Johnson continues to pummel those cones, man. Give it a break, dude. They have a family. Those cones. Man. Imagine being that cone just to be respawned in every lap, just to be beaten up by Jordan Johnson. What a shame for those cones. But Jordan Johnson doing his best to try to overtake Alexander Klink here. Cones are an acceptable casualty of racing. It happens. But Jordan Johnson, he's really using every inch of the track, even if it's not meant to be used. Further back to the field right now, it looks like Thomas Crump is trying to make up ground on Benjamin James in front of him. That Ball State Mercedes has a giant purple BMW in its rearview mirror right now. It's getting a little scared, but Thomas Crump is making his way to the front of the field. He's currently sitting in 10th position, trying to get one more spot to get up into 9th. That Mercedes, I think it's having a little bit of trouble right now in corner exit because it looks like Thomas Crump's got a fantastic run. He's really going to use the slipstream to his advantage. He's going to wait to pull out in the last second here, and he does pull out, and they go hard on the brakes. That BMW just can't quite get there in the end. Benjamin James is able to hold on to 9th position. Benjamin James is our biggest mover of the night, up from 20th position, currently sitting at 9th. So great race from him. He's able to avoid all the chaos and contact and collisions, currently sitting 9th still. But Thomas Crump has something to say, and I don't think Thomas Crump wants to sit here for long. This is 4 position. This is 4 points in the student classes. Thomas Crump sends one up the inside of turn 1. Thomas Crump is able to get the move done before turn 2. Fantastic job from Crump, and I think Benjamin James was in a position where he can either give the spot up or he can put himself in a position to get wrecked. So Thomas Crump not making it easy on Benjamin James out of Ball State University, but that 16 machine up into the 9. Back at the front of your field, Jordan Johnson still trails Alexander Klink by half a second right now. While this is not for points, as Alexander Klink is an alumni driver and Jordan Johnson is a student driver, it is for the marbles. You never want to be finishing behind somebody in a race, even if they are in different classes. I think calmer heads would tell you, Jordan Johnson, you're pulling away from your closest competitor and our Muhammad Ali behind you, so just take a rest. But common sense rarely prevails in the heat of the moment and in a race car. As we come across a line now for the end of lap 12, looks like we'll have 2 more laps in this race here potentially. They cross the line now. We don't see the white flag from Barney, so we will have 2 more laps here. The ever-loving Barney the Flagman, always there, always reliable. He never gets it wrong, unless he does, and sometimes it happens, but we still love you, Barney, and keep up the good work, as Jordan Johnson does his classic kill the cones move through turn 3, as looks like he's still about half a second behind right now. This is your closest battle on track. There are some lapped cars in the mix with some lead lap cars, but that is not for position, of course. It looks like Alexander Klink here has pulled out a bit of a gap over Jordan Johnson as they're coming to this last sector of the track. This is with 2 laps to go right now. As they get to the line, they'll be given the white flag. But it looks like Alexander Klink has held off steadily here. Jordan Johnson was charging, but Klink has done a fantastic job of preserving his tires and ensuring that he's able to keep the car back throughout the whole race. Maybe Jordan Johnson just got a little too impatient earlier on. He did have to pass some cars in the invert that maybe resulted in him burning some tire life. But Alexander Klink comes across the line now to take the white flag. Barney waved that thing like a madman. 1 lap to go. Jordan Johnson chasing down the lead right now, but he's about a second back now, and Alexander Klink has put in a lap time now. It's 4/10 of a second quicker that last time around. I think Alexander Klink has got this, but he still has a couple miles to go to win this race. Alexander Klink in the 013 machine out of Worcester Polytechnic Institute. is leading the pack right now. He's led the field from green to finish at the moment. Is he going to be able to close it out this last mile and a half here at Twin Ring Motegi, one of the most famous tracks in Japan? Fantastic racing we've seen here tonight. As further back through the field, looks like Nicholas Patinella is getting within half a second of Blake Ellison. We saw that battle a little earlier. We'll see if that becomes anything, but right now we want to stay with our leaders and make sure we have a fight to the finish. It looks like lap traffic is ahead. Can't tell quite who that is. Looks like the 81, not the 81. Maybe the 20 of Alexander Hogarth or the 13th of Colin Wilinski. But I don't think it's going to play a factor here as Alexander Klink comes under the tunnel here of the oval through the last sector of corners. He's got about an 0.8 of a second advantage over second place Jordan Johnson. Out of the last corner right now, lap traffic might be playing a factor here. He's held up a little bit, but I don't think Jordan Johnson's going to get there in time. Alexander Klink crosses the line now to win race 2 of the CiL GT3 Challenge here at Twin Ring Motegi. Jordan Johnson finishes up about half a second behind him. As we go further back to the field, we have a battle brewing between Nicholas Patinella and Blake Ellison in front of him. This is for position, but not for points, as they are in different classes right now. But if you want to see this race to the finish, as R. Muhammad Alif and Connor Fisk cross the line in 3rd and 4th, respectively, to round out your top 3 of the students. Because Daly comes home 2nd for the alumni, and Kyle Bonin will come home 3rd for the alumni. But Nicholas Patinella is trying to chase down Blake Ellison here. This is for a top 12 position here. Hunter Herdesty crosses the line in 8th, and Thomas Crumple crossed the line in 9th, with Friedrich behind in 10th. Nicholas Patinella can't quite get there for Blake Ellison, but Justin Fragic is crossing the line momentarily here for 10th position. Nicholas Patinella can't quite get there as Blake Ellison will cross the line for Averett University in 12th place. Nicholas Patinella will round out your alumni finishers in 13th place for the evening. In 14th right now, Daniel Rodriguez is a little bit further behind, but race 2 for the CiL GT3 Challenge, a little bit calmer than race 1. I think we had an incident that really stacked up a lot of our top drivers. Really is from positions 5 to 10, where we saw a lot of the people who got caught up in that wreck. That's kind of the positions they were running there in the first race. So Daniel Rodriguez crosses the line now in 14th position. Tyler Stone behind him crosses the line for St. Clair College. Athena Leclerc in that 61 Lamborghini machine out of St. Clair College. Still working her way through that final sector, and a couple seconds behind her, also out of, from Ball State University, is Kyle Wood. But Athena Leclerc now comes out of the final corner. She will be our finisher in 16th position tonight. I'm running out of words to say. It's been a long race. It's been a long night. But Athena Leclerc crosses the line, and Kyle Wood comes across the line now. Barney waves that flag for the last time tonight to finish out the race in 17th position. Well, folks, we had a fantastic race tonight. I think it was definitely a lot of fun, and I think we should get to hear from some of our top race finishers tonight. So let's see if we can get any of our top 3 into the booth. Let's definitely see if we can get some of these top 3 drivers into the booth. We'll see here momentarily who we can catch. I'm sure they'd all be loving to talk to us. I think anybody loves a good race interview. You know, it seems like it makes you feel important. I think anybody who can get interviewed for their accomplishments has done something well in life. Looks like we're going to be getting our first driver in the booth tonight. It's Jordan Johnson, our race 2 runner-up, as well as our race 2 student winner, Jordan Johnson. Congratulations on a fantastic night tonight. We saw you steaming through the field, making some aggressive moves in race 2. Go ahead, talk us through your strategy for race 2 there. It's exciting to watch.
The race 2, for some reason I was thinking we would invert the top 10. So I was expecting to start P5. I started P7 because of the invert, but race 2 was kind of... I knew I was starting in front of Muhammad Alif. I just needed to put myself in a good position because I had the pace on him. I was watching that towards the end of race 1 just to get information, and I saw I definitely had pace. So my goal was just to get to the front as early as possible and try to stretch my legs just in case anything happened. And unfortunately, Alexander got up front. before me, and I knew I had probably at least half a second or more from then from when I was just sitting behind him. But the problem was pushing through the dirty air here is just so hard. It's near impossible because of all the sweepers. You need probably about 7, 8 tenths of a second on the guy in front of you, or you need him to make a mistake. And so that half a second I had on him, it wasn't enough to get past him. Race one, I was just damage control because I switched overall from the Merc to the Porsche just to kind of put myself a bit more in line with what my team's doing now. So it was just a combination of minimize the loss in the championship as much as I could, just so I'm ready for the rest of the season.
Well, Jordan, we saw you making good time on Alexander Klink in the first half of race 2, but really once you got behind him, you mentioned that you just couldn't get by him. Were you concerned at all with a Leaf coming to catch you? Because I think for the first couple laps you were behind him, you were losing time, but after a while it seemed like Klink really started to pick up the pace. So were you worried at all about a Leaf behind?
No, not at all. Muhammad was in a front engine car, and here at Motegi, this track is completely front end limited. There's no chance that you keep your race pace past lap 8 or so. And I think that was kind of reminiscent of Muhammad's pace. He's quite fast early on. He was matching our pace. And while I was being held up by Klink, he was catching up initially. Once his front tire started wearing, there wasn't going to really be much he could do just because of the characteristics of this track and the fact that he was in the Mercedes. So it was really playing into my hands in the Porsche and to Klink's hand in the Audi to just stay up front and keep putting in laps. I don't think we would have really ever been under threat from him. But it was really just a race between Klink and myself, and I couldn't get past him just because of that dirty air. And in that last 2 or 3 laps, his pace started dropping off a ton, but I couldn't do anything more. I had already spent my front tires just by sitting in dirty air behind him the entire race.
Well, Jordan, congratulations on not only a second place overall finish tonight, but you did win the overall student standings in race 2. Anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight before we send you on your way?
Just my team, Pure Sims Esports, and our sponsors, SimLab, Keep Control, Sims Sports, OBP, Esports, KRD, and FreeM. That's all I got for really today. Just massive thank you to all of those guys and all the support they give us and my team, and happy to be up front and in the booth again.
Well, Jordan, congratulations on the student win tonight, and have a good evening.
Yep, thank you.
That was our race 2 overall runner-up, but our race 2 student winner, Jordan Johnson. Joining us now in the booth is our Muhammad Alif, our race 1 winner, as well as our race 2 podium finisher. Alif, great race tonight. We saw you absolutely dominate race 1. Once you got that start and you kind of jumped out to a lead, was it just about car conservation, tire conservation in race 1, or were you focused on the guys behind?
Yes, yeah, mostly just pacing myself, not making any unforced errors. You know, around Motegi there's a lot of grass, so you can easily lose the car on the entry. So that was kind of where I was at and driving at. But yeah, most of that was just controlling the pace really.
Yeah, Alif, as the result of winning race 1, obviously you had to start in the 12th position for race 2. We were just talking to Jordan Johnson, and he was saying he wasn't worried about your pace just because of the front engine car of the Porsche, and that's why he switched it up and he took the end-of-line penalty in race 1. Was that a concern going into this race, that your car selection was going to make a big difference in your finishing position?
Not quite. I know that if I put in the effort, I can still eke out the pace out of the Merc. So yeah, that wasn't really a concern of mine.
Well, Alif, congratulations on your absolutely dominating performance in race 1, as well as your third place finish in race 2. Before we send you on your way tonight, anybody you want to thank or shout out on the broadcast?
Yeah. My friends who tuned in, thank you very much for your support and for watching. So is my team, Ball State Esports, for having this amazing esports program at the school, and also to the rest of my teammates, and Dan Marino, the esports director.
Well, Alif, congratulations tonight. You ran a great race. Take it easy tonight, all right?
Thanks, man. Cheers. Have a good one.
And that was our race 1 winner and our race 2 podium finisher, our Muhammad Alif. Lastly, joining us in the booth is going to be our race 2 winner, and as well as our Race 2 alumni winner, it's going to be Alexander Klink out of Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Alex, congratulations on that win in Race 2 tonight. Go ahead and walk us through how you did it.
Yeah, thanks. That was that was a tough one. Jordan kept me on my toes the whole time. He was, super fast, just pushing every lap. I think it was just all about making sure I wasn't making any mistakes, because if I did, he was going to be right there. And yeah, I think that was really key.
Yeah, Alex, I think we saw you really pushing the pace there towards the end, and I think were you concerned about losing that position and then maybe dropping more after that with fast cars behind? Or in race 2, were you just more worried about running your own race? Because we talked to Jordan earlier on, he said that once he got behind you, it felt impossible to pass just because of the dirty air and the lack of grip in his tires.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we had built up a pretty big gap to the third place car. So I think it was just about making sure I was hitting all my marks and, keeping that 0.3 to 1 second gap. Because it's really hard to get, like you said, I imagine, to get that last little bit of closing that you need to try and go for a pass.
Well, Alex, we saw a fantastic defensive drive from you in race 2 tonight. Before we send you on your way for the evening, do you have anyone to thank or shout out on the broadcast?
Yeah, I mean, I'll shout out Jordan first of all, because that was awesome racing with him. Wasn't wheel to wheel, but still just intense every lap. That was great. And of course, just thanks to you guys for organizing all this. It's great fun to come out every other week.
Yeah, Alex. Well, it's always fun to watch you racing. Congratulations once again. We hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for our next CiL GT3 Challenge race.
Thanks.
And that was Alexander Klink out of the Worcester Polytechnic Institute, our Race 2 winner and alumni winner in Race 2 as well. And I think that's just going to about wrap up our evening tonight as we're going to take a look at our final results from Race 2. Looks like it's going to be Alexander Klink, the alumni from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, is your winner. Jordan Johnson, running that 4 machine from Kent State University, can't quite get there in the end, just a couple tenths behind. R. Muhammad Alif in the 12 car out of Ball State University finishes 14 seconds behind the lead, and Connor Fisk out of University of Utah finishes 4th. Connor Daly leads a train of alumni cars from the University of Texas at Arlington in 5th, with Kyle Bonin from Clemson in 6th, and Tony Coroner from Michigan Tech in 7th. Hunter Hidesti led his teammate from Clemson. Excuse me. A little tickle in my throat there. Hunter Hidesti led his teammate from Clemson University across the line in 8th, with Thomas Crump right behind him in 9th. Justin Friedrich from Minnesota State University recovered well after contact in his first race to finish 10th. Benjamin James from Ball State University in 11th, with Blake Ellison in 12th. Nicholas Patinella, the last alumni, finishes in 13th for Robert Morris University. Daniel Rodriguez in 14th, with Tyler Stone in 15th, leading his teammate Athena Leclerc across the line from St. Clair College, 16th. Kyle Wood out of Ball State University finishes 17th, and Colton Walinski from Florida Southern College finishes a lap down in 18th. Rounding out your bottom half of the field, a lot of these drivers involved in incidents in the race. Alexander Hogarth from St. Clair College finishes 19th, with Jacob Cummings in 20th. Austin DeLong from the Pennsylvania College of Technology in 21st. Cone Evans in 22nd out of IUPUI. Ryan Whitlock from the University of Alabama in Huntsville in 23rd. And 24th, Daniel Hunter out of St. Clair College finishes 12 laps down. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it from us here at the CiL. Be sure to tune in next week as the Oval Series takes the broadcast over as they head to Texas Motor Speedway for the Prospect Series race at 8:50 on Monday, and then on Tuesday the Premier Series will take on Texas for a bit longer race for the Premier drivers. We expect to see some good racing there. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks' time on Monday at 8:50 as the Formula C Series takes on Laguna Seca. Those drivers will be driving the Formula 4 cars in a very similar format to the GT3 Series, two 20-minute races with an invert for the second race. And then the moment you've all been waiting for, the GT3 Challenge, 2 weeks from today, as the drivers take on Laguna Seca as well. It's going to be a fun race to watch. Laguna Seca always provides fantastic racing for open wheel and 10 top GT3 cars. But for everyone here at the CIL and myself, Matthew Nordberg, we thank you for joining us tonight in this broadcast. We hope to see you again next week for the CIL Oval Series.